Welcome to the movie summary. If you like the featured video, please watch full to the theaters near you or buy the movie. The film starts with the story of the 10 rings, which are mythical set weapons that could grant wearers with a godlike abilities. The person who held these rings was an individual called Wenwu, who utilized its power to serve his own purposes. He has been seen taking out an entire army using his ring's power. Wenwu later created his own group, known as the 10 Rings, which influenced the course of history by taking over different kingdoms and governments. In 1996, Wenwu, who isn't happy with his powers, is determined to explore the township in Ta Lo to find a mythical dragon to acquire the power. Once he has reached the village's entry point, he meets an individual named Ying Li, who guards the entryway of Ta Lo. She and Wenwu fight, in which she shows her impressive fighting abilities. However, the two instantly fall in love to each other. They have 2 children. Their son is Shang, and Li offers her son an emerald necklace. Today, Shang is a resident of San Francisco and goes by Sean. He gets a mysterious card that has a photo of a dragon. He is a valet with his best pal, Katie Chen. They are happy with their lives. However, their buddies John and Sue cause them to feel as if they're wasting their time and potential. Shang and Katie continue to play on their own, and they sing at karaoke bars. The next day, Shang, along with Katie, get on a bus, and they encounter the man who is demanding Shang hand the pendant, which is still affixed to his neck. Others join with a huge man leads with one hand, named Razor Fist, who immediately begin to strike. Shang-Chi's previous training in combat kicks in, he begins to fight the men and uses his feet and hands with great speed. However, Razor Fist uses his razor to cut the brakes off of the bus, killing the driver, which prompts Katie to take over the wheel while Shang-Chi fights. They manage to take out the villains, but they've taken the necklace. Katie starts asking Shang-Chi questions about who he really is. Shang-Chi tells her that he has a sister named Xialing, whom he got separated from when he left his father. Shang-Chi presents Katie with the letter he received and believes that it's from Xialing. They take a plane to Macau to locate her, and Shang-Chi explains the course of study he took during when he was still at the 10 Rings. Still, as Shang-Chi realizes that his father had wanted him to become a murderer, he decides to abandon his father's instructions and escape to America. In Macau, Shang-Chi and Katie discover an underground club for fights run under the name of John. They see the sorcerer Wong wrestling Emil Blonsky, also known as the Abomination. Wong wins by constructing a spell that creates a portal that causes Abomination to hit him in the head and knock himself out. Shang-Chi is then signed for the next fight and has to fight Xialing. She fights with her brother until he informs her that their father is coming after them, along with the pendant that she has kept in her possession. Xialing is angry with Shang-Chi as she left her after the death of their mother. When Shang-Chi shows the card, Xialing says it wasn't her who sent it to him. Then, 10 Rings assassins, headed by the Death Dealer, start to attack the area while Xialing is forced to leave Shang-Chi as well as Katie. Shang-Chi fights off the assassins outside the building and defeats most of them. Katie falls off the building but Xialing quickly saves her. However, Wenwu arrives on the scene and takes Shang-Chi, Katie and Xialing along with the rest of them. Everyone is in the 10 Rings compound, where Wenwu offers his children and Katie with food. He would like Shang-Chi to succeed him as his successor in the leadership of the 10 Rings, but Shang-Chi is not interested in his father's legacy. Wenwu also speaks about that fake Mandarin persona from the Iron Man movie. The fake Mandarin came from America that disguised as him as well as his group. He also talks about Li and how his life was changed when they met and how distraught he was when she passed away. Desiring to find her, he discovers a gate that is located in the mountain ranges of Ta Lo where he believes Li is locked up and needs to be released since he claims to hear her voice calling to him. Wenwu uses Shang-Chi's and Xialing's pendants and then places them in the eyes of the dragon statue, triggering an esoteric water map that allows him to gain access to Ta Lo. When Wenwu declares his intention to take over Ta Lo and burn it to the ground, Shang-Chi vocally protests, and his father puts him down on the ground before putting him in a prison cell, together with Katie and Xialing. While in captivity, the group meets Trevor Slattery, the former fake Mandarin from the Iron Man movie who has since been captured for impersonating the Mandarin and the Ten Rings. His only friend is a furry, faceless animal named Morris. With the help of Morris, the group discovers an escape route to the garage. Then, they take Razor Fist's vehicle to get toward Ta Lo. While they travel, it is discovered that the forest attempts to eat the group as they move through it, but they are able to get to Ta Lo safely. The forest is also home to other mythical creatures like the Shirshir lions. It is also the place where Morris comes from, as Morris is also often referred to as a Hundun. In the event of being confronted by the villagers at the village, the group is greeted by their leader, Ying Nan, Li's sister, and thus she is the aunt to Shang-Chi as well as Xialing. Nan explains to the group, also to Katie and Trevor, that they are guarding the dark gate where the Dweller in Darkness is in prison. It is a soul-sucking beast who has slaughtered thousands. Before the beast were able to enter the world outside, the Ta Lo warriors guard the gate. Ta Lo were able to fight back with the dragon's guardian, the Great Protector. They assisted in putting the Dweller behind the gates. The Dweller manipulates Wenwu to believe that Li's voice has been calling to him. Nan takes Shang-Chi and Xialing to look at the suits their mom crafted and prepared for them, while Katie is training to become an archer. Nan brings Shang-Chi to a place to help develop his skills in fighting and learn how his mother techniques in fighting. She was the only person who was able to defeat Wenwu. As Wenwu continues his study on Ta Lo, a flashback is displayed where the former adversaries who were part of the Ten Rings, the Iron Gang, were able to attack the compound. During the time, Li battled against them but was killed by the Iron Gang. In a fury, Wenwu took the young Shang-Chi to the scene and forced him to witness the moment he utilized the Ten Rings in order to kill those of the Iron Gang, and Shang-Chi was the first to witness his father's brutality. Shang-Chi later tells Katie that he fears about becoming the same as his father. But then, he decides the only way to stop him is to take down Wenwu to prevent him from injuring anyone else. Then, Wenwu leads the Ten Rings in their way through Ta Lo, and the Ten Rings assassins and the villagers get together to battle. While the battle rages on, Shang-Chi confronts Wenwu with a bow staff. The two clashes in a tense battle, ending which ends with Wenwu hitting his son to the ocean. He then proceeds to break the Dark Gate, unleashing several soul-sucking demons. One of them kills Death Dealer, and out of fear this entices Razor Fist to join forces with Xialing, Nan and other villagers. The demons steal more souls to let loose the Dweller. While submerged, Shang-Chi comes across the Great Protector, and he aids to rise up and then return to fight Wenwu. Shang-Chi is able to gain control of the rings. However, he does not take down Wenwu to prove that he's not like Wenwu. However, the Dweller is freed from its cage. Wenwu surrenders control of his rings to his son before the Dweller takes over his soul. The beast continues to rampage throughout the town, then it comes to a point at Shang-Chi needs to choose between his life and Xialing. When she asks Shang-Chi that she must let go in order that they don't be killed, he refuses but holds on to her. Katie launches an arrow at the throat of the Dweller. Shang-Chi utilizes the rings to launch attacks into the Dweller, while the Great Protector evades the attacks of the more stronger Dweller. Shang-Chi throws rings at the chest of the Dweller and then executes one last powerful strike that rips the beast into pieces. The village celebrate their victory. Later that night, the survivors pay tribute to those who died fighting for them like Shang-Chi, who was paying tribute to Wenwu. They light lanterns and then send their lanterns off to the sea. Shang-Chi and Katie return home to recount their entire adventure with John and Sue, who think they are mocking them. After that, Sorcerer Wong opens a portal to the bar in front of everyone and invites Shang-Chi and Katie to join them for another task. They don't waste time and walk through the portal. In mid-credits scene, Shang-Chi, along with Katie, are reunited with Bruce Banner and Carol Danvers, who also known as Captain Marvel. Along with Wong, they are discussing that when Shang-Chi used the 10 rings, it turned on an alarm or a beacon. Before they continue to determine what it signifies, Shang-Chi and Katie go with Wong to the karaoke club where they are drunk while singing Hotel California. In the post-credits scene, Xiaoling is now the leader for the 10 rings, with Razor Fist being under her side working for her, while the remaining members continue their training while she creates plans for their future. Thank you for watching our featured video here in Movie Summary. I hope you have enjoyed watching our videos. Please click the like and share buttons to share the video to your families and friends, and please subscribe to our channel to help us grow. Click the notification bell so that you will be notified whenever we upload new videos. Bye for now, and see you in our next videos.